Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and as always we have a varied drop for you all, from something really strange and wonderful with the Louis Erard to one of my favourites with this gorgeous Zenith, to a couple of other pieces on the table as well, including some epic vintage and some from the personal collection, which I'm sad to see go, but as always needs must. And with the new office, you guys and girls are messaging me a lot about it and I really do appreciate it. So we're still on track. Hopefully mid to late September we'll be up and running in that new office, and rest assured there will be a video, there will be photos, it'll be all over Instagram. You'll be able to see what it looks like in the finished product, and it's exciting. I mean, the designer and the builders have put together some really great plans. My ideas have changed slightly because of what they've said, but all in all it's looking pretty exciting, and it should be an awesome space once done. And I do want to apologise if I look and sound a little tired. I've got to be honest, I am exhausted. It has been probably close to, well, over 20 days in a row now, and all days have been very long, but I'm loving it. You guys and girls are keeping me super busy. Obviously the new office is keeping me busy. Fizz, because I'm wearing the Brunswick brown, so we'll put that on screen now, just hosted an incredible event at the Shard. The top 2 floors of the Shard was completely rented out for them, and they showcased their new watch, and to celebrate 175 years. Now that new watch, I'll put a couple of photos or a video up on screen. It's a rectangular piece, one with sub-seconds, one is a two-hander. The two-hander, new old stock 1960s movements, and the three-hander is a new old stock 1930s movements. Limited to 175 total across the 2 watches, and you can find out more by visiting their website. And also, you can arrange to come into the office and have a look at them from Monday next week, so you're watching this on Saturday, hopefully. So the Monday we'll have them in office able to show you. Appointment only as usual, and I do have one being built myself, my personal birth year, which I'm really looking forward to. And on that note, I just want to say a big thank you, because whilst we were at the events, we were running, Kibble Watches was running the Sky Boutique for Fizz, so showcasing the Fizz collection, because as a lot of you know, we are an official stockist of Fizz, the only London stockist of Fizz, which is going to be even more exciting when we get the new place. We've got some ideas in mind for how we're going to incorporate that a little bit more. But either way, thank you all to you guys who came, said hello. You know, it was great to see a lot of you there. We got 4 of the 5 Brunswicks there. Unfortunately, my customer couldn't make it, the one who owns the 5th. Steve, if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed your day nonetheless. I know you're rocking it all the same. But yeah, just want to say a big thank you to everyone and explain why I may look absolutely exhausted. But anyway, we're here to see the watches, aren't we? So let's crack on. And as always, in the description, if you want to skip to specific watches, there are timestamps and also a link to the website where you can see all the details, the prices, the specifications, everything we don't cover in this video, you will see there. If it isn't there, do get in contact, email, phone call, WhatsApp, whatever you want to do, Instagram. But I do request you stick to one of those platforms. If you message us on Instagram, please just be patient. We have got a lot of messages coming through. So don't email us and then phone us and then do all this, because it's not always me responding to every single one of those platforms, and messages can get a little bit overlaid and a little bit skewed. So do just be patient. If you don't hear a response within 24 hours, do send just a friendly bump. And I promise we will get back to you. And also, towards the end of this month, it is my birthday. I'm going to be turning 24, which is crazy. I often forget how old I am. I usually think I'm somewhere between 22 and 25. I am 24, so I'm between that range, that's for sure. But I am going to be having the day off. It is a Sunday, thankfully, and the Monday's a bank holiday, so that makes it quite easy. So I won't be working. There will still be activity, there will still be posts, there will still be all the usual stuff you've come to expect, but the replies may just not happen until Tuesday, so do forgive me for any delay. And also, I am flying to Hungary at some point in September, at the start of September. Our photographer, Danny, who does those incredible photos you see on the website, he's getting married, and me and my partner have been fortunate enough to actually have been invited. A true honour, and I cannot wait to be there. So I'm still toying around with the idea of what to do in terms of drops for the start of September. We may not have a drop for the first week of September. I'm not 100% sure yet. We may skip it and go on to the following week, just to make it easier with responses and also getting, you know, inquiries and everything like that. If we're not here, if we can reduce that, all the better, so we don't leave people disappointed, especially with shipping out new watches, etc. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, that was probably the longest intro we've done, and I do apologise, but you're here to see the watches, so let's get on to it. We're going to start with this awesome Louis Erard and Albert Silberstein. Hopefully I said that correct. Let me just check. Albert Silberstein, yes. Let's take a closer look. So starting with what is probably one of the wackiest watches we've had in a while. And this is the absolutely awesome Louis Erard and Alain Silberstein the second. Excellence Le Regulateur. So this is a really awesome collaboration, and that's what Louis Erard is doing so well. They're doing these really great collaboration pieces with these incredible watch designers, watchmakers that are very hard to get. Albert Silberstein creates these crazy watches, usually in chronographs. I suspect a lot of you guys and girls would have seen them, especially if you give them a Google, and they are incredibly expensive and only climbing in that direction as well. They're not coming down in price. So the fact that Louis Erard has collaborated with them to create this very sort of affordable piece in comparison to the others is really great to see, and I think that's what Louis Erard are doing so well. So why does it look the way it looks? Like, what is going on with the actual dials and everything like that? Well, you've probably figured the dial down at the bottom is the sub-seconds. If we pull out the crown, you'll quickly see how this works. So you can see you've got the minute hand, the big blue hand that goes all the way around, and the top dial is actually the hours. So you can see 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1:30, and so on and so on and so on, and 2 o'clock. You get the idea. So it's a very interesting way in telling the time. That's what a regulator means. It's that sort of dial layout. You can see you've got a really nice enameled red Louis Erard crown on the case back. This is where you can see the movement. Now, beating away inside here is the Sleater SW266-1. You can see it in there, and you can see where it says Alain Silberstein right there. And you'll have to forgive me, I've been saying Albert Silberstein, haven't I? I'm going to put a disclaimer on the screen every time I say Albert. It's terrible of me. But there you go. This is a limited edition of 178. It is from June 2021, and it does come with its full box and papers. You can see it comes on this really interesting Velcro style strap. Interestingly, this is quick release, and these lugs are 22mm, so you can put any 22mm strap on, as well as this interesting pull through Velcro. If I demonstrate here, you pull through, fold over when it's on wrist, but let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. What an interesting and unusual design, and also it wears so well. It might look really crazy and look big, but it wears super good. So it's 41.5mm by 47mm lug to lug, under that perfect 50mm lug to lug. It is only 12mm thick, and as I said, 22mm lug, so you can put any strap you want on it. But this Velcro is really comfortable. It makes it super easy to wear, and just really just fun. A hell of a lot of watch and a lot of fun for the money. And I think in a world where the watches are always so serious, something like this Alain Silberstein, see I said it correct there, is fantastic, so go check it out. From there, let's go over to the now discontinued Tudor Chrono. Next up, we have the awesome but now discontinued Tudor Black Bay Chrono. This is part of the Heritage range, as a lot of you will know, and you can see you've got that awesome steel case, steel bezel, black dial. It is very monochromatic, and it just looks brilliant. This has always been a very popular watch within the Tudor lineup, which may come as a surprise to some of you, because I think some people out there, they see this Tudor Chrono and they just unfortunately think poor man's Daytona, as they do with most Tudors. They think poor man's Rolex. Those kind of people are now becoming very rare, thankfully, because Tudor is a fantastic brand standing on its own two legs and doing incredible things, and a watch like this is the perfect example of it. It is a big watch, but it wears very well, and this is a worn example. You can see it does come on its original strap with its original deployment buckle. It is from June 2019 and does come with our warranty. We can have it fully polished for you. We're selling it as is. It's not terrible at all, but it is definitely worn, so if you want it looking brand new, we can get that done for you at small extra cost, but it will look absolutely fantastic. Now, inside here, beating away behind that closed case back, is the Tudor Caliber MT5813, which is basically a collaboration with the Breitling B01. Now, they did sort of a movement swap a little while back. You can read up more on that if you wish. but the reference to this one is 79350, and it does come with its full box and papers, as I said, from June 2019. But let's show on wrist, talk dimensions, because this watch is very surprising. And here we go on my wrist. You can see it doesn't look too big. Now, it is a big watch. It's definitely not trying to be a small watch, but it isn't too big that it's unwearable. And I think it works better on the strap personally. There are bracelet versions and you can get bracelets, but to me the strap just works a lot better. It makes it a bit more wearable. So the exact dimensions of this are 41.5mm by 50.5mm, only 0.5mm over that 50mm lug to lug I always go on about. 14.5mm thick, so it is quite thick. But it does again wear that weight quite well, and 22mm lugs, so endless options on that strap, which is really nice to see. But go check this one out, save yourself a lot of money by picking this up pre-owned, and if you want it polished, let us know. Let's stick to the modern pieces before we go on to the vintage. Let's have a look at this awesome Zenith Elite. Next up, as I said, a favourite for me, and for those of you who know me, you'll know exactly why. One, I absolutely love Zenith. I think Zenith is one of the most underrated brands out there. They've done some absolutely incredible watches, from the vintage to the modern, and I own vintage and I've owned many modern. This actually sat in the personal collection for a while before it's come to the website. This was always one I purchased to sell, but the joys of sort of running your own watch business where you buy and sell is you get to enjoy them first. So after I finished enjoying, I got it sent off for a polish, and you can see it's come back. It looks fantastic. I have put a brand new strap on it. So unfortunately, I could not find a official Zenith strap because it is annoyingly a 20mm lug width that tapers down to 16. So for those of you who know your straps, you'll know almost all 20mm taper to 18, which meant I couldn't put this buckle on it, but I wanted to definitely put its original buckle back on, obviously. Its deployment clasp. So this is actually a Fears goat's leather strap, a very, very nice, very high quality strap. I actually own two of these straps myself, but I purchased a brand new one for this watch, so you're getting a hell of a lot of watch for the money. Now this is the reference 01/02.045.680. They have really long references, which is annoying, but it is the Zenith Elite Port Royale 5, or V as they're called. And inside here, interestingly, is the automatic Zenith caliber 680, which was one of the first movements to ever use the CAD system in terms of creating the movement. So a computer generated movement to sort of find out whether everything would work, whether everything would fit. This was one of the first movements to ever use that technology, which is really interesting, really beautifully decorated. Zenith do fantastic movements, and there is no question about that at all. So you got sub-seconds over there, date over there, and a really beautiful texture on the dial. And this watch is absolutely stunning. It's one that I will not be sad if it doesn't sell, to be honest with you. It's from March 2009. It does come with its original paperwork, which is nice to see. It doesn't come with its original box. However, we have provided a Zenith service pouch with it as well. This is an official Zenith service pouch, which is nice to have. But let's put it on wrist and talk dimensions, because that is where this watch really, really shines, in my opinion. And this is where it becomes even more insane how affordable this watch is. And here we go on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. This is 36.5 by 43mm lug to lug, only 8mm thick. So it's super thin on the wrist, and 20mm lugs, as we said. This is stunning, perfect proportions on the wrist, perfect for an everyday, understated dress watch that's also able to be dressed down and paired with jeans and a t-shirt perfectly. Those of you who know me, I hardly ever dress up. I hardly ever even put a shirt on, to be honest. It's usually t-shirts or jumpers. So for me to wear this as often as I did, it goes to show how versatile this is, but still super classy and super elegant. So go check it out on the website and snap it up before I change my mind. Now let's go from there to this awesome Wallbrook Skin Diver World Timer based on a vintage watch. Let's have a closer look. Next up is this Wallbrook. So this is the Wallbrook Douglas World Timer Skin Diver. It's got a pretty long name, professional on the end as well, but a really interesting watch that the brand has brought back, really, based on a vintage model. We go into more detail on the history, so you can go check that out. You can definitely see it looks like a vintage skin diver. You've got a rotating world time bezel, vibrant red second hand. You can see the loom has got that really striking sort of greeny loom, which is really nice to see. Roulette date wheel over there. And you can see it's paired on this Perlon. It would look better on a brown leather, to be honest, so message me if you'd want one of those thrown in, and I'd happily provide one of those with the purchase. Got a signed crown over there, not screw down, but either way, it's a lot of watch for the money. I think these are super interesting. Inside is an automatic Miyota 8315, so you do sort of feel and hear the rotor a little bit. That's the thing with these Miyota 8000 series, but they're not bad movements at all. It is from August 2020, and it does come with its box and papers, but let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here you go on wrist. It definitely doesn't look terrible on the Perlon at all, especially with the red second hand, but it's not my personal choice. So here you go. 40mm by 48mm lug to lug, 13.5mm thick, and 20mm lug. So thankfully, so many options when it comes to straps. And again, as I said, I will throw in a brown leather strap for you with the purchase if you would like the brown leather as well. So go check it out on the website. Based on a vintage watch, 2 vintage watches, let's have a look at one from the personal collection, a incredibly rare, and I will be very surprised if you can find another one, rotary compressor. Okay, let's hold back the tears for this one. Oh, I'm going to be so sad to see this go. So I've owned this for a little while now. It's sat in the personal collection, in the safe, been worn on occasion. But to be honest, I've been trying to find an example of this out there in the wild. I've been trying to find an Instagram photo, one that's sold previously, one that's come up in auction, just even an advertisement, a photo in a forum, nothing. I cannot find another example of this watch anywhere. And that's what makes it really interesting. It's all correct. It's a rotary sign case, rotary sign movement. Everything is correct rotary. And this is a very early 1960s rotary compressor diving. The reference is 1042 and the serial is 20-378. And inside is an automatic ETA 2452. Case back is very faded. You can barely see anything, but there are remnants of some engravings. But overall, just a really stunning watch, as you can see. Let's give that a wipe. Now, what makes it a compressor diver? So you will find other rotary divers. There are many out there, especially of this period. But you will not find one like this. So what a compressor means is you've got a crown at the top that is controllable by that bezel. As you just saw, that works nicely. It is a bit stiff, but it does move. The bottom crown is obviously to wind, set the time, and date, and everything like that. And you can see you've got the original loom on the dial and the hands. Now, some people have said, but those hands look like they've been replaced. Well, I am very confident they haven't. Yes, the loom is a different colour, but you've got to think 1960s brands, even Rolex, even all the big brands you love and adore, didn't make the hands and dials in the same place. They often came from different manufacturers. So while straight out of factory they may have looked very similar because the loom would have been about the same colour, over time they've aged differently because the mixture of what they used was slightly different. But either way, this is definitely original. You can see that beautiful glossy dial. It does have some marks, but it is all original. Really stunning. As I said, I don't think you're going to find another one. And if you do, please let me know. Sorry about that, was interrupted by the postman, but let's try it on and take a closer look and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. You can see that is perfectly proportioned. It looks fantastic on this black NATO I've put it on. It looks really good on a Tropic, rubber strap, so many options. Now, something to keep in mind, it is a 19mm lug width. But anyway, 35.5mm by 44mm lug to lug, only 11mm thick and 19mm lugs, as I said. So you've got to make sure you get the right size strap. Some 18s are fitting. It's sort of a weird in-between. I suspect maybe it had some sort of special fitted bracelet maybe, or a special fitted strap. I'm not too sure because I can't find any other examples or any advertisement or anything. So if you know anything about this watch, have any information, do let me know. But go check it out on the website. Buy it, don't buy it, I don't really mind. It's one of those watches you're just not going to find another example of, so I'm happy to keep it. Let's do the final one of the personal collection, just because I want to get them out of the way, get them done. Let's go on to my 14 karat, or my old, not mine anymore, 14 karat white gold filled Bolivar. Next up, another beautiful rare watch from the personal collection that I'm very sad to see go, but this is an absolutely stunning 1927. Yes, you heard that correct, 1927. This is approaching 100 years old. Bolivar 14 karat white gold filled rhodium dial, as you can see or radium dial, sorry. You can see those radium hands indices that are all original. You are missing some in the hands. You've got some burn marks on the dial where obviously the hands have sat for a long time, but it's all original and stunning. Yes, you've got wear up there, wear down there. It's to be expected. I mean, come on guys, almost 100 years old. You've got the fancy decoration, Art Deco on the side of the case, and you can see the case back slightly open. There's a reason for that. You've got this really stunning curved case back, and when we open this, you can see you've got all your hallmarkings in there, 14 karat gold, all your references, serials, etc. But then you can see the movement behind a very tainted yellow, because it's original, crystal. So that is pretty much the first exhibition caseback. This has been noted in many books and articles as one of the first ever exhibition casebacks that were done in a watch. And the movement you're looking at is a manually wound bull of a caliber 10AN. And as I said, circa 1927. This is a very, very rare watch, a very beautiful watch, and incredible to see in this kind of condition. Yes, it's not perfect, but find me a perfect example and I will point to the price and say that is what you have to pay to get it, because this is very reasonable for what it is. But let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. Is it a smaller watch? Yes, 100%, but it's not supposed to be a huge watch. At the end of the day, 1927, this is how big watches were. Does it still work on a gent's wrist? I think it does. I think you've got to be a certain kind of gent to wear this, as in like not uncomfortable with small watches, which I'm not. I can wear this and I have worn this, and at the end of the day it was in the personal collection. But saying that, my missus, she really enjoyed wearing this as well, and I think it does look great on both his or her wrist. But 26.5mm by 33mm lug to lug, only 9mm thick and 20mm lugs. That's what helps the wearability. You haven't got this tiny thin strap. You've got quite a thick strap with the 20mm, which makes it wear really beautifully on wrist. Go check it out, go see the photos, and pick this up before you can't find another one. Honestly, they are super rare and super beautiful. From there to a beautiful condition on its original strap with buckle, Girard-Perregaux. Next up is this beauty that I am super excited to bring to the market. This is a super clean, super nice 1950s Girard-Perregaux Gyromatic 39. And it gets even better, as I said in the intro. It does come with an original Girard-Perregaux strap and original Girard-Perregaux pin buckle. Let's get that in focus because that is beautiful. You can see the case is in stunning condition. That's the original Girard-Perregaux crown. Overall, just really, really nice. Really beautiful, and just a hell of a lot of watch for the money. Very Calatrava in its look, you know, the simplistic three-hander. Yes, you've got the date, but really, really interesting. And beating away inside this, and the reason it's called 39 is because it's an automatic Girard-Perregaux 39 jewel movement, which is a lot of jewels for a movement, as a lot of you will know. Really interesting straight lugs there with nice chamfers. Overall, just a really beautiful design. You've got your references and serials between the lugs, as usual with Girard-Perregaux, but a stunning watch circa 1950s. There isn't really an awful lot to say other than this is insane value. Girard-Perregaux is one of those brands in the vintage world that are just overlooked and unfortunately forgotten about. But when you see them like this, you definitely don't want to miss them. Let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, beautiful proportions on the wrist, as you can see, 34mm by 40mm, only 9mm thick and 18mm lugs, so endless options on straps. And if you are going to wear this watch sort of semi-regularly, I would recommend wearing it on a different strap, because obviously this is an old piece of leather, and I would recommend trying to maintain it and sort of keep it safe and not worn as much as you can. But go check this one out on the website and pick yourself up a stupendous deal. From there to something that is unapologetically 1970s, and it's awesome, this Tissot. So as I said, unapologetically 1970s, and that's something you're either going to love or you're going to hate. And to be honest, I love 1970s design. I own quite a few watches personally that are of that era and are very unapologetic as well. And this is a stupidly cool watch. You can see the dial is like recessed down. You've got that outer ring that sticks up and the hands swoop underneath it. Super cool, super nice glossy blue dial. The dial does have some marks unfortunately, but it is all original. You can see you've got the date there over at 3 o'clock and all the names of the watch. So this is a Tissot Automatic PR516GL, and it does come on its original bracelet, as you can see. Now these bracelets were never particularly strong out of the factory. I've seen new old stock versions of these and they are tighter, but they're not like crazy tight. So this is quite worn. It does have wear, but it's still wearable and still super comfortable, to be honest, and I think that actually adds to the comfort. It's a relatively big bracelet as well, so if you have have a larger wrist, you'll be fine with this. But it's a lot of watch for way under £500. Inside here is the automatic Tissot caliber 784-2, and this one is from circa 1971. But let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, surprising one on wrist because it looks quite big and it looks like it fills up the wrist, but when I tell you the dimensions, you're going to be quite surprised because it's only 36mm by 42.5mm. 13.5mm thick and 25mm lugs. Obviously this is an integrated bracelet, so 25mm from there, tapering all the way down. But a really stunning watch, really great looking, and just a lot of watch for under £500, as I said, especially if you're wanting something a bit sporty, something a bit 70s, and on a bracelet. There aren't a huge amount of options, and this is definitely a very, very good one. So go check it out on the website. And last but certainly not least, a really attractive and really affordable Rodania. A stunning watch that offers a ton of value for the money, and as we get that in focus, you'll see why. What a beautiful sector dial that is. This is a Rodania sector texture dial, fancy lugs, because those lugs are certainly fancy. Really, really nice. They sort of protrude out of the case. You've got this nice prominent crown, really nice screw down case back. The case is chrome, so that's something to keep it aware of. There are some wear and tear where you can see the chrome coming through. But overall, it is not too bad. We've all seen a lot worse. Inside this movement is a automatic Felser 690 Bidinator. I don't know how to say that last word, Bidinator. It is a common movement used with the Felser family, and the extra Bidinator is something to do with extra jewels as well. Obviously this is automatic, so you can hear the rotor spinning around in the back when you do that. And it is circa 1950s. You can see you've got those really gorgeous gold tone indices, a really gorgeous texture, the patina into the center of the dial. It's just a good looking watch for the money, and especially when you consider how much it is. When you go over to the website, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, especially knowing it's serviced and comes with our warranty as well. So you're getting backed with this one. But let's show it on the wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go. Don't be fooled by the case dimensions thinking it's small, because it wears like a 36mm watch. This is 33.5mm by 43mm lug to lug, and thanks to the 11mm thickness and those sort of thick protruding lugs, it really does give a bigger wrist presence than that will have you believe. 18mm, you can see we've got it paired on this nice brown leather, but many options will work on this. I just think this is a classic looking pairing and it looks brilliant, so go check it out on the website now. So there you have it, guys and girls, that is this week's drop. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope there's something here that sort of takes your fancy, and that is the joys of these varied drops, from modern to vintage to affordable to expensive to everything in between. We try and provide you with something that's going to float your boat, really. At the end of the day, collectors nowadays don't just collect one brand, so why should the dealer you deal with only stock one brand, for example Rolex or Omega, right? It's good to have this variety, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But that's enough rambling. Let's get this wrapped up, and let's get today wrapped up and I can get home and get to bed. I think that is what is needed. But either way, go check these out. Send us your messages, emails, get in contact. I always love to hear from you guys and girls, and we'll see you all again next time. Take care.